Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm Tom Dunn, the host, and today we're going to be talking to Dr. Jerry Dannenberg of the Hueneme Elementary School District. He is the retiring superintendent, and also with Dr. Christine Walker, who is going to be the new superintendent of the school district. First of all, Jerry, I'd like to thank you for all the hard work you've done over the years as superintendent. And just to start off, I wanted to know, you're retiring. What are you going to do for the next 40 years?
Well, the first thing on my plans is just to go for long walks, to have the time in the morning to just go for long walks. Other than that, I'll take it as it comes.
Well, that's a good plan, and retirement sort of works that way. You figure out what you're going to do when you've had every minute of your life tied up. Would you mind telling us what are some of the major accomplishments that you've seen in you were there 12 years, I believe it was?
14 years.
14 years. What you have seen go on in the school district?
Well, first I'd like to start by saying that I've been blessed. I've worked with probably the best school board in the state of California. It's a very consistent school board, even with the changes. We've had a number of changes on the school board, but we have members of our school board, members of our community that truly care about kids, care about our employees, and want to do what's right for them. And Hueneme has been blessed. When I first came to the district, we had a board member that was the longest serving board member in the state of California by the name of Lane Garber. Spent over 50 years on our school board. And so that type of consistency really helps the school district be consistent. Now, to talk about some accomplishments. When I first came to the district, we were starting into some what we called high stakes testing. And student improvement was key on our list, and all of our schools improved student scores in the early years, and I'm very proud of the growth they made and the growth they sustained. In more recent years, and in fact just recently, we have completed a building program to close the district so it's ready for the future to handle a couple of issues. One being the new class size reduction program so that we have enough space for kids with smaller teacher-student ratios. And what we've done there is we've added 2 classrooms at Beach Elementary School, 10 classrooms at E.O. Green Junior High School, and 10 classrooms at Haycox, and 8 classrooms at Blackstock Junior High School. So with those additions, there should be plenty of classroom space for the foreseeable future, given that our enrollment is not growing significantly.
But it seems to be an up and down situation you have to deal with over the number of years that you're responsible for.
Yes, enrollment always fluctuates a little bit, and so what you want to do is watch trends, look at what you're going to need in the future, and you look at that several times a year to see how many kids are there. We get a monthly report of how many students are showing up each day. And we look at that to see, are there any trends? Is it increasing or decreasing? And if so, is it a significant number?
And I would imagine as that occurs, the tax dollars that you have to run has to be moved around and put in the most important places.
Yeah, well, we basically have a couple of different sets of funds. One, we have our normal funding, which pays for teachers and staff and books and supplies. And then we have a very generous community that over the course of the last 20 or so years has authorized basically 4 bond initiatives for the school district. And I'm proud to say that I'm leaving the district with $4 million basically in the bank that they can go out and get authorization should they need to build more buildings, to repair some of their present buildings. And they've been good stewards we've been good stewards of the public's money. Just recently we refinanced some of those bonds to save on interest rates for the taxpayers and bring down their tax bill each month a little bit. And we'll continue to look at ways to save money, but also meet the needs of the students.
That doesn't happen in many civic or civil or government entities these days, to be able to say, I have $4 million in the bank. And we appreciate you taking care of that money for us. In your 14 years, what would you say was the most difficult challenge that you had to meet?
I think the most difficult challenge of any government agency is having to deal with the ebbs and flows of the state budget. We are most local government agencies, including school districts, are at the mercy of the state of California for our funding. And some years, cities and counties do well, and some years, school districts do well. But you've got to be prepared for when those changes are coming. And when you're in a downward cycle, you've got to be able to either reduce staff or reduce your expenditures. So you really have to be watching that and being very careful with it. And of course, when I first came to the district, we experienced something called declining enrollment. We had a number of our students leave for a while. We lost about 10% of our students the first 2 years I was in the district. And that causes an economic drain on the school district. And then right after that, we were hit with the state economic crisis that started about 2007 and went on for a few years. And so we're just coming out of that. Just recently, the governor has passed a new funding formula for public schools in the state of California, and the Hueneme School District has benefited from that. We've recently been able to add a number of new programs to help our most needy students. And I'm looking forward to the future because I think you're going to see some real exciting things happening in the Hueneme School District in the next few years.
That's really good news, and I'm sure you and Christine have talked, but what words of wisdom or advice would you have for her as she comes in to take over your position?
It gets back to that age-old budget question. You've got to be watching it. You've got to be prepared for that next downturn. And so one of the things that we've worked very closely together over the last couple of years is trying to set up the new money coming in, ways that she will be able to try to keep the major services in place without affecting students or staff. And so, but she still has to watch it, because if it gets cut too much, then you have to cut deeper yourself. So it's just watching that budget on a daily basis, really.
Good. You were listening, right?
Absolutely.
Good. Well, if you can keep up what Jerry has initiated, and probably even down the road, take it even further, the parents and the citizens of Port Hueneme will be thrilled about it.